Well, welcome once again to Raising the Consciousness of Humanity, where we have uplifting and positive speakers, people giving messages. And today I am really excited to have Arkayla on. And I found her because I had seen a number of her videos. She channels the Pleadians, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But she is a shamanic healer, an alchemist, and of course, a channel. And the message that Arkayla shared with me is her strongest calling at this time is to embody and inspire courage in those who feel the call to allow their authentic selves to be seen. I love that. And to assist light bearers to overcome their resistance. We all have resistance. And to embrace the expression of their true nature. Like who wouldn't want to embrace the expression of the true nature? So Kayla, so thank you so much. And I know we just talked briefly. You're originally from Australia. You happen to be in London, I guess, area right now. Yeah.
A little bit south of London. Hello, Ron. It's lovely to be here. Thank you. But yes, I'm down actually near the coast, near Dorset. So yeah, not
Oh,
far.
must be beautiful there.
It is. It is. It's a lovely place to be. I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and so as I explored a little bit on your website too, I noticed down at the bottom, you've been noted at actually, if you've been featured in, I think some of these were magazines too, right?
Hmm.
Marie
Yeah.
Claire, um, Ellie, Australia, Ageless by Rescue, and Married at First Sight. Now that's a TV show, right? Or is that
It's a TV show, yeah.
okay?
Yes. Well, I've been working in this world for a decade, just under a decade now. And as I'm sure most of your viewers might identify with, it's an evolving journey.
Yeah.
And I started as a Reiki healer, and then kind of as my depth and knowledge kind of deepened and increased, my gifts started to expand. I moved into shamanic healing, and I was coaching a lot, and yeah, and I just got approached by different people at different times to go and support them in different ways. And one of them was Married at First Sight. I did a little bit of coaching on Married at First Sight with a particular couple in Australia a few years back. Yeah.
Isn't that special? Wow.
Yes.
So yeah, so I really I want to dive deep into some questions. And before I
Mhm.
go there though, I just want to shout out to everybody who's watching this. This would make we would love it so much if you could just like and subscribe, not only raising the consciousness of humanity, but our Kayla's YouTube, which we'll talk a little bit more later. She has a lot of, I think there was like 198 videos. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. This is how we get exposed. This is how we get messages out there, and it would be just absolutely awesome if you could do that and share the content with other people that you feel would be inspired too. Now, Arkayla, in skimming your videos, right? And I know you channel the Pleadians, and the question I have, so there's a lot of positive messages. I don't know. I've been familiar with the Pleadians, but maybe not all of our audience is.
Mhm. Yes.
And I know every time I've hear a message from whether it was a message you shared or even somebody else who may have channeled the Pleadians, it's always been positive. It's always been uplifting. It's always been helpful or self-empowering. And so that's one of the things I really like about, the messages you share. But if you could give like an overview to our audience, who are the Pleadians?
So the Pleiadians come from the Pleiadian star system, and they are a species that are very invested in the consciousness of humanity coming into a higher alignment and a heart alignment, and have been working with humanity since its seeding on this planet, and are here with us in many different ways to support us, our evolution, and really help us see ourselves as equals to them as well, rather than them being superior to us. That's something I think we tend to do as humans. but rather see us as very good friends, and really want to enable and empower us to embody the beautiful light that each of us is, that we all are part of.
Nice. And when you first started channeling, well, tell me a little bit about your awakening journey, because I imagine you weren't just born channeling the
No.
Pleadians. Your mom and dad probably would have had a hard time with that. But tell me about what happened in your life that opened you up to this.
So yeah, I mean, it has been a very long journey, and I first really came into contact with the Pleiadians when I was studying with a shamanic healer who really focused her work on astral travel, like
Hmm.
shamanic astral travel. And I felt a calling to work with her, and I worked with her for a while. And maybe the second astral journey we did together, I connected, or the Pleiadians just came straight in and were very happy to see me and basically reminded me of agreement I had made with them to be a mouthpiece for them
Hmm.
in this experience, in this life experience, to support humanity at this time, very precious time of expansion, and to, yeah, carry their message, their frequency. And so that was the first time I really realized that there was such a clarity of agreement. I hadn't realized that. And that actually was when I also appreciated that their presence had been with me for, I had been aware of their presence, but not really understood it for a few years
Hmm.
before that. And, but that didn't mean, unfortunately, that I immediately said, okay, let's do this. I had a lot of resistance around it for a very long time. And I really struggled with being perceived as a hippie, and I really did. And back because I really started off as a coach. I wanted to coach people,
Hmm.
and though energy work was a big part of that, because I had also trained as a Reiki healer, and I had become very good at past life healing
Hmm.
and generational healing. I just found it's been about a 10-year journey. I realize I'm going all over the place, sorry, but
No,
I
that's
found
good.
as this journey expanded, that as I got to know myself and drop into myself more and more, the more my gifts, I suppose is the word, would become apparent. And the reason I struggle to call them gifts is because I believe that we all can do these things.
Hmm.
And it's just an awareness, a level of awareness. And so coming into alignment with the Pleiadians was really how I saw it. My soul got to a certain place on my journey where I could connect with them again. And that's when they were able to come in and remind me. And so I was open to it, but I wasn't comfortable with it for a long time.
Okay. And so, yeah, so what you shared, I believe a lot of channelers have some sort of pre-life agreement to
Mm-hmm.
actually at a certain moment in their lifetime to have be turned on, I guess, as start sharing messages.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any psychic gifts when you were a child? Did you have, I mean, did you get grown up in a religious background or what? How do others now, like in family and circles like that, see you?
So I didn't no, I didn't have psychic gifts as a child, and I was brought up by homeopaths. So my parents were both homeopaths, which now is quite not common, but it's
Yeah.
fairly understood. Whereas I was born in 1980, so in the 1980s, homeopathy wasn't well understood at all. And so I think what that did for me was give me a different perspective on things, because instead of I never went to the doctor as a child. I never had any antibiotics. I never had any vaccinations. I didn't have anything, just because my parents did it all with homeopathy. And so it was normal. But it gave me a different perspective on things. And and my mum started practicing kinesiology, which then was called Touch for Health.
Yeah.
And I remember as a 6-year-old being told to lie on the floor of the living room. She would practice different things on me. But the only experience I really remember where I think I started to sort of tune in was when a family friend of ours had an accident, a really serious car accident, and had a brain injury. And mum used me as a conduit, funnily enough. She asked me to hold our friend's hand in the hospital bed and then did kinesiology on me.
Mm.
And I had to stop in the end because I burst into tears, and mum didn't understand why. And I said, oh, I just went through all of these feelings, mum. And looking back on it, what I realized was I just totally tuned in with where she was, and I started getting all of the information that was pouring through her brain that was really confusing and
Mm.
overwhelming for me. And so that's probably the only real experience. Other than that, I I had a very profound relationship with nature, and I could see this might sound I could see life force. When I used to fall asleep at night, I would wake up sometimes in the dark and I could see life force, like the how do I describe it? Sacred geometry
Oh,
of
wow.
consciousness. So that was, but I didn't really know these things at that point. But I wouldn't say, that I could, at that point, I couldn't talk to people beyond the veil. I didn't have that.
Mm.
So yeah.
And so then you got to this point where working with, like you shared, with a shamanic healer, and then things started opening up, and then you had an astral travel moment. Astral travel, I relate to, is out of body experience, right, on the astral plane. And then did you have a visual contact, or with, like, did you see one entity, Pleiadian, or was it a group? Because I guess from what it sounds like you're channeling a collective.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. It's a if the way it feels is family. I'm just standing there
family.
with family, and we're in a little huddle, and then the information kind of comes through that way. But yes, so to be clear, I had what I would describe as a fairly normal life, whatever that is. I mean, I worked in corporate for 15 years and was very that way inclined. And then I would say my awakening happened, yeah, in my mid 30s, basically. And I I just became overwhelmed with the desire to understand my place in the universe. And
Hmm.
you hear these stories all the time, and it was I wanted to know what my purpose was. Everything started to feel very empty and superficial, and that was when I left my work and went and trained as a Reiki healer. And it was like I was starving. I was so hungry. I read everything. It was like I was consuming it. And but most I was obsessed with energy work. And for years, for a good 6 years, I would do Reiki, but my husband would leave in the morning and I'd be lying on a sofa or a bed with my eyes closed, and he'd come back in the evening and I'd still be there. And this would happen. And I would spend all my time just going inside and figuring things out, I suppose. And I
Hmm.
guess over time, that, as I said, the past life, because my past lives started to come back to me, and then I was doing lots of karmic work, and then I understood how to help other people see their past lives, and then I started connecting with goddesses, Hathor and Isis, and then I came across this lady doing the astral travel, and that was I felt the call to work with her, and that was when the Pleiadians came in, and that was when I started doing soul journeys. really.
Mm.
So I wasn't ready to channel them specifically, but my compromise was I'll do soul journeys. And so I used to get groups of people at 30, 40, excuse me, and I would drop in with each of them and let the Pleiadians come through, though I didn't tell them that. I just let them
Okay.
through.
Yeah.
And I would channel, would come through for that individual person as they kind of came into the space. And then once they're in a circle, lying down, I would then allow, well, actually, I would open myself up generally, and Pleiadians would come in and all kinds, actually, Andromedans and different species, Mother
Mm.
Mary, different beings. And we would go on journeys together, and I would take kind of everyone with me. And that I did for a few years up until last year, really. And then that started to feel not quite right. And then finally,
Mm.
I just surrendered and focused on the Pleiadians. And that's literally what I've been doing now for the last 6 months or so, just allowing them. Whereas
Nice.
before I was doing lots of other things. So, yeah.
Yeah, your videos seem to come up regularly, so on YouTube. So
Okay.
I know there's probably a lot of things that are being shared right now, and I think they're all
Mhm.
in alignment with the current times that we're in too.
Mhm.
So very, very beneficial.
Mhm.
Going back to like the break when you said, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to go into Reiki healing and let this all open up. And you left the corporate world. Did you get any resistance or negativity from friends, or was
Oh, yeah.
was it? Yeah, yeah. Did everybody just run?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost. Well, I'd say lost. That's not the right word. My friendship group went like and it's just it was really hard because everyone around me that I had developed relationships with, that you realize your relationships are built on an identity, obviously, that you're embodying. And when you start to change that identity, there's this sort of lag period where there's some chaos. People don't know how to connect with you anymore because you're coming at things from a different place. And I had been quite a party girl, to be honest, in my
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
And and so a lot of my friends were heavy drinkers and partiers, and I overnight, it was almost like overnight, I just said, I'm not drinking anymore, and I'm not interested. And so that was, then they felt a lot of judgment from me. I felt
Yep.
judged by them being the hippie. And so there's a lot of discomfort there. And also for my now ex-husband, he struggled with it as well tremendously because it affected our social life so much. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. But
And yeah, go ahead.
well, yeah, it was it. What I realized looking back was I felt very judged, but really I projected a lot of my judgment onto the people around me. And I feel that
Yeah.
in some relationships, had I been more able to kind of be a bit more vulnerable and say, I'm just trying to figure this out, there probably would have been a lot more
Yeah.
hold space for that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's worked for me because I'm now aligned with people that are my friends are now much more aligned with the person that I am because I was able to let go of that wasn't aligned and create space for more.
And it creates space for more. Yeah, that's beautiful. And authenticity is so important
Mm-hmm.
because if we don't have that, we're not really living our true nature.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you shared something, and I'm trying to remember the words. You said when an identity, a personal identity changes, I think you said there's a moment of chaos, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of relative to what's going on in the world today.
Yes, absolutely. It is a destruction cycle.
It's
And
just, yeah,
yeah, because I feel that everything in life, we see it every season, every seasonal cycle. There's always a destruction cycle, and then everything dies and goes quiet, but everything sinks down into the earth to get warm and
yeah.
remember itself again, and then rise from the ashes, as they say. But it's a rebirth, and so yes, I that's very much how I feel at the moment. I would say we're very much in the destruction phase, and I think it's very reflective of, this is such an individual journey from my perspective. And what I'm being taught by the Pleiadians is, yes, there is so much going on outside and there is so much chaos, but please turn your attention within yourself.
Ah,
As disconcerting as that can seem, it's really important to do that, because we actually all manifest from the inside out. And so if we turn our attention within and focus on the soul light that we are, not only will we just feel better because we'll be connecting with the truth that everything really is okay,
mm,
but in steady alignment with that light, we will start to emit that frequency out and manifest from that place out, which will only benefit all of us.
yes, yeah, beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I think a lot of our audience that listens, whether they come from a metaphysical background or understanding, or have listened to channeling, or sometimes innately we know, and yet we still get triggered. Maybe
Mm.
we've it's been a mental process of knowing, but not an embodiment of into the heart of knowing. But yeah, I think what you shared was really, really well. I have a question. Okay, so around channeling, you hear this conscious channel versus I forget. So are you, so do you receive the message like through a voice, through words, pictures? How does that just come through you? And are you off to the side, or are you just, are you like after you channel, do you remember what you channeled?
I love these questions. So,
Okay.
yeah, these are good questions. So, of course. I so I receive everything on every level. So I get images, emotions, or sensations, words. So it's very interesting to me to watch a channel video back that I've done, because the experience is totally, for me, it's an all-consuming experience. And yet what I see on the outside looks very sort of formal. and
Hmm.
but I am so, everything comes in and I am trying to find the words to translate the experience that's moving through me. And the more I just surrender and weirdly don't try to find, the more the words just come. So and that really is the channeling. It's letting go of the need to figure it out. And as I've got more and more comfortable with channeling, that it comes more easily. And so sometimes like you'll hear me pause, and that's because whatever the feeling is that they're giving me, the word hasn't come yet that I feel encompasses the feeling. And so I'll just feel my way to the word. So yeah, it's a multi-sensory experience. And what I sense as well when I'm channeling is how much energy is moving through me to whoever's listening. So it's not just the words, it's actually more about the experience people have receiving the message. And I've
Yes.
had this confirmed by a few people who've actually just said this. And actually I experience when I watch channels, which I try to keep myself really clear. So I really don't watch anything. And so people ask me certain questions about things I suppose I should know. I don't know them because I really just try to listen to what they give me. And but when I do come across a channel or one pops into my feed, I have a full body reaction to them. In fact, my head will do this, it will flick. And that's because the energy that comes from them is received by my system, and it's like a acknowledgement. And
Yeah.
and so it's like my way of just, oh yeah, this is not the real thing. I don't want to say that, but like I feel that connection. And so I feel that that's what comes through from the Pleiadians, with the messages they offer me. That's the effect they can have on people. So yeah, it's even though I'm expressing words, I know that there's so much more coming through.
It's an energetic expression.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that.
Nice. Yeah, I had to laugh when you said you don't always want to watch other channels. I actually don't even own a TV. I don't watch TV channels. So people
Yeah.
are like, and I do find I still find out things like I always feel like you'll know what you need to know when you need to know it,
Yeah.
right?
Couldn't agree
So
more. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. It's
yeah, it was just kind of like I feel like I don't know, I just felt like it was toxic. So I just like the best thing for me to do would be just um unplug it and get rid of it. So yeah.
yeah. No, it's true. I think I'm the same. I'm staying with my mum at the moment. She has a television, but yeah, in my own home, I don't have one, and I I feel, I'm very wary of what I've been taught. The Pleiadians are very firm about labeling things, and simply it's either of service or not.
Yeah,
Those are two things. It aligns for you or it doesn't, and and that's been very helpful because what I observe is that if I label something, there's either joy around it or fear around it. And so when I don't label things, those feelings don't need to interact with the experience. It's just alignment or not alignment. There's ease or not ease. And so that's been a helpful paradigm to discern through.
nice. Nice. So we'll go into allowing you to do some channeling, but I guess another quick question is when you do you can you teach other people channeling too? I think that was on your like you have classes and everything. I guess we'll discuss that more at the end, but you can teach people how to channel too or help them? Not
No,
really?
I I feel that no, I help them create the internal emptiness, and really I your intuition is life force speaking through you. And so what I really help people do is become extremely attuned to their intuition and able to learn how to transform their energy. Because when they're able to, this is what I call alchemy or quantum alchemy, when you are able to discern subtle energies, then you can receive information in many more ways than just hearing or seeing things.
Yeah.
And so it's really about expanding your conscious awareness. That's really the focus. And in order to do that, you have to work through a lot of resistance.
Mm.
And and that's where all the sort of pattern breaking and shadow work aspect comes in. But
Okay.
yeah, I really I like people expanding, coming into the awareness of their light language and helping them, yeah, really connect with multidimensionality. All of these things kind of create this fertile ground, if you like, for that for those conversations to start taking place. It's really confidence because we're all avatars, we're all channels. So it's
Yeah.
really about reassuring the people I'm working with and validating them. Actually, that's the biggest thing, because so we can do this. It's being able to discern the mind from the message, and that's the tricky part. People get caught up with their resistance, which can manifest as fear or doubt, and
Yeah.
that can get in the way of that.
That was well put too, because you're right. Not everybody's maybe wired to be a channeler, but they're all being called to be the best versions of themselves or to serve humanity or shine their light in a certain way. And so you're helping them along that journey.
Yeah,
And yeah,
that's
and even myself, I feel like having looked into this myself, I feel like I'm more claircognizant, not necessarily um like I find at certain moments I get like ideas or insights or things that come from somewhere, right? And so
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I feel that we are actually all channels. It's just that we all do it totally differently. You may go into a channeling state when you're interviewing someone, you just know what to ask. The feeling just comes
Yeah.
through, and that just sets everything alight in that experience. And someone else might channel when they cook, or when they're in a sales pitch. It can be,
Yeah.
everyone channels, because I feel we're all aspects of this same light force. So it's just about where we most easily allow the light to flow through us. And yeah, we have these terms around channeling specific entities at this time, but I feel this is a temporary period. And as we
Yes.
all become better at channeling the light within us, more authentic, and that's why we're being called to authenticity, so that we're all more able to channel the light that moves through us. As this becomes more normalized,
Mm.
the channeling won't be so necessary, because everyone will just know. And
Yeah.
so I don't know
Yeah.
what I'll do then, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
beautiful. So if should I ask you the questions first or wait for you to go? And what is the process? Do you have to go into a trance or
Oh,
is it
I'll drop in. So, well, I mean, we can do it how I would normally do a session with someone. So, what I normally say to someone is ask all your questions, and then I
okay,
drop in, and then they just come with a flow of answers.
perfect. Arkayla, thank you. So these are my questions, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Um, one is how can someone become more intuitive and self-aware, which was kind of like what we just talked about, but whatever the Pleiadians answer is to how can we become more intuitive, aligned, self-aware? And along with that, how do we best know our purpose, our self-purpose? Because a lot of people feel called, some confused, some
Mhm.
sometimes resistant around that. They know it, but there's some fear holding them back. So maybe a little bit around that. And and this could be in any order. Is there a general message for the audience or humanity about the current world situation? Because I know people are, triggered and traumatized by a lot of that. And then some of it may be very close, maybe within their own little world, health conditions or loss of job or some sort of suffering that they're going through that's in the smaller world. But just in the general, we've seen the wars and seen things going on. It's got a lot of people scrambled a little bit. And so if it's possible to, shed some light on that too.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Dearest one, it is a pleasure to connect with you at this time. And we would like to start by saying what a delight it is to be a part of this experience. And to you, beloved one, for the work that you are doing and what you are bringing into this experience. The energy of these interactions that you have is delightful, and indeed it does elevate the consciousness of the planet. And so we wish to honor you for the very embodiment of the desire that you are holding within you. And indeed, this is where we would like to start around embodiment, for in coming into alignment with your true nature, what you are doing is allowing yourself to fully embody who you are, or rather, what we would say, what you are, the light that your vessel of the physical body holds. And the more that you allow yourself to come into the light of your true being, your origin, the more you are able to not only bring light into your day to day experience, but indeed bring light into all of those around you. And so, beloved one, you ask about purpose, for indeed this is the question of the time, the purpose. And so, what we would say to this is your purpose is to be purposeful. It is to be very mindful of what you are, what you want, what feels right. And we cannot express this enough, the importance of feeling your way. And we realize that in this experience, we are talking to many people who are across a spectrum of aligning with their true purpose. And what we would say to you is that purpose is something that evolves through you. For example, though Arkayla channels us at this time, it does not mean that we are her sole purpose. We are a part of her purposeful experience. And so we would ask, what feels purposeful? What fills you up with a sense of purpose? For indeed, this is really a question of self-discovery. And we know that this frustrates many people because they just want the answer. But what we would say is that the joy is in the discovery. Do not underestimate the journey, beloved ones, for indeed it is the journey that fills every moment of every day. And the quality of your journey is really dependent on your ability to let go of the need to know the answer now. Rather, to allow yourself to feel into your life. Are you doing what feels good? Are you around those who feel good? And these are questions that for many are very confronting because decisions have been made with ideas in mind that are actually not aligned with feeling well. And so we would say that the chaos so many are experiencing at this time, beyond the obvious situations politically, are really being created because of the growing desire on the planet for authentic feeling. And in the process of delving in to this truth within each of you, there is indeed a chaos, indeed an editing of what should or should not be, what feels right and what doesn't. And so, beloved one, we would say that everyone is doing very well at this time in finding their way home to themselves. And though, yes, it is messy, we would also say to you, think bigger. Because there are many souls playing out certain life experiences in this moment that are not only beneficial in this life, but are beneficial to the overall journey of them as a soul evolving over numerous lifetimes. And so you see, it is a question of perspective. Some souls are coming in for a very short period of time, having extremely stressful, or what would appear to be stressful experiences, not living a long life for whatever reason, but on a soul level, this experience is highly beneficial from an evolutionary perspective. They may be dropping into a life experience to express patterns that have been with them over many lifetimes, but in the fullest expression of them, bring them into a level of completion so that they will not need to repeat in future lifetimes. And so you see, there is a divinely orchestrated experience occurring. But that does not make it bad. It just makes it what it is. And so you ask about raising the consciousness. And as we have described, indeed, this is exactly what is occurring. For that which is not aligned is being brought to the surface, made so obvious, and everyone is being forced to face the realities of their situation. And as we have said, it is confronting. However, what has also been occurring is that the years leading up to this point, so wonderful, have been preparing you. And many of you have been working hard, clearing and aligning and finding so much more of you within. And this experience, though testing, is really enabling those of you who have been doing this work to see yourselves, to see the magnificence of what you have been creating come into form, be tested and held. And it is many of these people that we know we speak to in this moment. And what we would like you to hear is that indeed it is your time. And it is time to let your light shine. For there are many of you here who have great passions, but also great beliefs around why those passions are not enough. And we would say to you, trust your passion. Let it be enough. Jump off and fly. For indeed, now is the time. This is what you came here for, this moment. And as we have mentioned in previous videos with Arkayla, many are fearful of being seen, though they so desire to be seen. And this desire is born of their knowing, their intuition, that they are to be seen. And we know to whom we speak when we say, it is safe now. It is safe for you to be seen. And in the process of doing exactly that, indeed, you help raise the consciousness of the planet. Do you have more questions?
Well, I guess the curious question that I have is in the realm of the Pleiadians, or as well as other, I guess the word I would use probably extraterrestrials. To us on this planet, we've been kept in the unknowing of extraterrestrials, almost as if we were isolated here and there was no such thing as um, any other life beyond us. So in the future, my assumption would be there would probably come a time where we would come in, we would maybe meet extraterrestrials on our planet. It may not be, I may not be alive at that moment, but is that something that is perhaps going to happen eventually? I guess once we behave ourselves to welcome extraterrestrials and Pleadians and yeah.
Indeed. And what we would say is that it is not about behaving oneself. It is more about alignment. And in fact, what Arkayla said about connecting with us was indeed very true. It is really about meeting on the right frequency. What humanity is moving through at this time is allowing itself as a collective to move into new frequencies, new energies, where naturally there will be alignment with those that are on the same frequencies. And so you see, it is not about a certain time or certain behaviors. It is really about certain alignment. And when the collective reaches a certain alignment with us and other species like us, indeed, there will be much interchange. It will be the most natural thing in the world. And what we would say is that this doesn't happen overnight. That many on the planet are coming into alignment with us now. Many are communicating directly with us and other species now, both physically, energetically, on many levels. because those individuals are in alignment. And so, really, this is a question of energetic alignment with certain frequencies. And what you are asking is about the majority. The majority being at a certain point where it can meet us more literally. And indeed, this will be the case, not so far away as you would say. But indeed, there are timelines involved, choices being made on the collective level that will impact the when and how.
One last question. Of course, I've seen a lot of numbers like 1111, 144, sequence of numbers, and I know other people experience this too. And from just a general perspective, I've been told they're angel numbers, but I feel there seems to be a lot of synchronicity at the same time when I'm aware of these numbers. Is there anything that you can shed some light on relative to why people are, every time we look at our digital clock or maybe a something that we start to see these numbers, our eyes look at it at exactly that time. It's 11:11 or something. So yeah, what can you share about that?
And so, what we would say to you around this is that indeed this is synchronicity, it is also confirmation. It is important to remember that you are being communicated to all of the time. You are in communication with so many different levels of existence. There are ancestors, there are guides, there are ascended beings of light in help of humanity. And of course, there is manifestation. There are so many different aspects to being alive. And seeing numbers as such is really about recognizing that you are part of this dynamic living space of communication, that you are multidimensional, and that whatever you may be traveling with in that moment will be receiving communication around confirmation, perhaps, or simply they know that your reaction to it will be pleasurable, and so they bring it into your experience. Your ancestors or those that love you and care for you and want the best for you, it is all so much lighter than humans make it. It is so much more playful. And so it can be a very individual meaning and it can be a broader meaning. But generally speaking, it is to confirm to you and those it happens to that you are often on the right track, that you are moving in the right way, most aligned with your soul light. The irony, of course, is that you often know this because you feel it. But these numbers come in to support you, to guide you, life force, giving you support. But we would not narrow it down to one specific thing. We would say that this is simply part of the communication of love in form.
Hmm, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Palladian Collective, Arkayla. This has been wonderful. And I just want to take a moment to let Arkayla come back into this beautiful YouTube session. Thank you. How do you feel?
Good, yes. Yeah, yeah.
I I love the message. I love the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you so much. And I really want the audience to also know about your other offerings, how to find you.
Yes,
And yeah, so Arkayla.love. So
that's it. Yeah.
www.arkayla.love is your website.
That's it, exactly. And I'm about to launch the Arts of Alchemy, which is it's basically a living source of information that I'm going to be providing through YouTube, through a YouTube channel. And it's about teaching quantum alchemy and taking people on the journey, sharing teachings that have helped me, and using channeled messages from the Pleiadians to get further support, as well as live Q&As for people to become more and more attuned to their multidimensionality.
Nice. And when does that start?
On the equinox, so March 20th. So,
So
yes.
they can sign up now?
Well, not quite yet. They can sign up and to a list, and I will then email them on the launch day to remind them. But yes, pretty
Okay.
soon, a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It will be a beautiful journey.
Yeah, no, I hope a lot of people listening to this tune into, and that can be found on your website, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And of course, you can book one-to-one readings as well with the Pleiadians through my website as well, if you feel the call to sit with them yourself.
Nice. Well, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will feel the call, and they can also find you on YouTube, and that is
At
our
Arkayla Love.
Arkayla Love. Okay, so the at
Yeah.
symbol Arkayla Love, and
Yeah.
then you shared your Instagram, and is that the same Arkayla Love or
Yes, it is. It is.
okay? All right. Well, beautiful. Any last thing you want to share with the audience?
I would say one thing, and this is because I'm seeing it so much with my one-to-one sessions, that if anyone here is watching and they really do feel a strong call to embody their light in a certain way, but they're having doubts, I would say that sometimes you just have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. And once you get the other side of that, you will realize how much more pleasurable life can be.
Isn't that true? It's always like
Mhm.
feel the fear and do it anyways,
Yes, it's
right?
so true. Yeah,
Yeah.
as simple as it is, but that's really because now is the time. If you've been waiting for the right time, it's now. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Arkayla. Lean into life and don't let the resistance stop you. And
exactly.
please reach out to Arkayla. I'm going to share all these links within the description box of YouTube. Follow her on YouTube, go to her website, and she's got the one-on-ones as well as the class coming up, which is the
Art,
Art of Alchemy.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Arkayla. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, Ron. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.